Hello guys, it's me again, Paul, aka the Virgin Angel, and I'm back again with another video tutorial. This time, what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is painting, using enamel paints and thinner. Now, I'm making this video specifically for our GMAC BRO ALVIN. And the reason why I'm doing this for him is he mentioned that he's planning on painting his master grade QanT. He's planning on painting the inner frame gunmetal, and he was asking for some tips on how he can paint the parts gunmetal and achieve a really good finish. Now, we're going to be using enamel paints here. This brand is Tamiya. This is the brand he specifically mentioned that he's going to be using. And one thing that you would notice about enamel paints, it's the paint are really, it's a bit sticky. So if you're doing hand brushing, it would normally be too sticky that the brush strokes would easily show. Now there's a product out there, it's called paint retarder, okay, and you can use that. However, I'm not gonna recommend that to Alvin yet, because if you make a mistake using this product, okay, it can easily destroy the plastic of your kits. I'm basically going to be showing you guys a simple way on diluting enamel paints using hardware thinner. Now, the thinner that I'm using, okay, it's this. It's an industrial thinner. I'm using this because it's very cheap, 74 bucks. And the can is very big. This can, that's the can that I've been using ever since I started Gunpla. Now, some of you may prefer the label brand, but for me, industrial thinner works. The only thing you have to know about industrial thinner is it can also be dangerous for your Gunpla plastics. That's why you have to be really careful when you're mixing paint and thinner. So what you're gonna need is a paint dish, thinner, and your paint. Now, first things first, okay, when you're painting, and this is tip number 1 I'm gonna give you, Alvin, okay, make sure you don't get too much paint. So what I normally do is I flip the bottle, and the paint that's on the lid, that's the paint that I get. I would get that paint and put it on a paint dish. Okay, as you can see, it's very little. Now you're gonna mix in the thinner, and I would normally use a dropper here. Okay, so I have more control, but if you don't have a dropper, okay, just use the brush, okay, and put the brush at the edge of the lid, and just gently tilt the lid until the thinner would drop. Okay, now that's about 2 or 3 drops of thinner and paint. Okay, what you do is you mix the thinner and paint, okay, so that it's not liquid. Okay, what you want to achieve is a consistency wherein, okay, the paint would easily spread. Now, to test if the consistency is good, if you put the tip of the brush, okay, on a tissue paper, okay, it would normally spread. So long as when it spreads you still see paint, okay, that's a good sign that the paint is well diluted with thinner. Not too much, not too little. Okay, if you see the edges of the tissue paper, okay, when you drop it on the tissue paper and you see at the outer edges it's white, it means you have more thinner, and that's pretty dangerous. So this is what we're actually looking for. Okay, now what you do, so long as you have a consistency of paint like this, okay, this would help you give a fairly even spread, or fairly even finish once it's dry. I got a plastic spoon here which I primed white. I didn't use gray. This is what I use, Mr. Base White. And the reason why I use white is so that you'll see exactly how the paint would spread. So we got thinned down gunmetal paint here, okay, and we're gonna be painting the part. Now you'd see that it's not that dark, okay, that's because you would need several coats for the gunmetal to really show, especially if you've primed the part, okay. One thing I would advise Alvin also is that make sure you let the paint dry first. Okay, this is just the first coat. Now I'm not being too particular about this. You'll see some brush strokes. I'm gonna let this dry. Okay, once it's dry, you then apply another coat. I'm just gonna pause this for a while, let this dry, and then we'll apply another coat. Okay, the first coat has dried out, and right now I'm applying the second coat here. Okay, when you're using thinner, okay, it just helps spreads the paint on the part, okay, but it would actually I don't know, maybe it's because of the composition of the paint, it would normally dry just a couple of minutes, and you can go ahead and, well, paint the parts here. Alright, the reason why we're just using thinner on enamel paints is to smoothen out the surface and even it out. You'll still see some brush strokes, okay, but well, it helps us make sure that the paints are even. Now if there's like an area where you think it's too thick, what you do is you just dip your brush on thinner, okay, dip it on the tissue paper. While the brush is wet, you go to that part, okay, and you brush it, you even it out. Like for instance, if I think this part is really thick, I'll dip the brush in thinner and then thin it down. Okay, that's also a way of retouching brush strokes. So that's my gunmetal spoon. Now let's try painting an actual Gundam or Gunpla part. And also, tip I'm gonna give you when you're painting and you're using paints diluted with thinner, make sure that you don't paint joints. Okay, Alvin, if you're gonna be painting your frame for your QanT, make sure you paint the parts individually. Why? Because if you paint the joints with enamel paint and thinner mixture, there might be a tendency wherein the thinner would seep in the joints and destroy the plastic, and what would happen is, okay, you're gonna cry because once you move the joint, it's gonna break. So again, I can't emphasize how important it is to be careful when using thinner. Like this paint dish wherein I applied paint, it's almost dry. It's almost dry. I'm not gonna put in drops of thinner here anymore. I'm just gonna dip the brush on thinner and then get some paint on the paint dish. Okay, basically thin down the dried out paint, get some paint on the bristles, and that's what I'm gonna use to paint this part. This part is an excess part for my RX78 Verka. It's not a Kodo part, but I can use it for Kodo part. And let's paint this gunmetal. So just easy brush strokes. Okay, brush strokes all the area after you apply the first coat. Okay, you can actually blow on it while you're painting so that it dries faster, if you have a fan. Okay, you can blow on it. Okay, because the paint easily dries when wind touches it. So there you go, Alvin. So again, let me just repeat. Enamel paints can be thinned using paint thinner. Don't buy lacquer thinner, just the regular paint thinner, that would do. Make sure you mix the paint very well. If you're not sure, you want to test whether the paint or the mixture is too wet, dab the paintbrush on a tissue paper. If the edges are wet, or you see white drops or white edges on the paint, that means it's too wet. There's too much thinner. Ideally, when you dab it, okay, it's just gonna be paint. So good luck with your build. I hope you enjoy that. Just be careful. You might want to try it on a spoon like what I showed you, and have fun. So there you go, guys. That's another long video, but I hope I was able to give some valuable tips. More power. Bye.